Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Cox. I'm a member of the Netcapital team. Let's allow one moment for people to settle in. Thanks. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. Welcome again. Today, I'm excited to welcome Anthony Lewis with Harmonee. As always, this company is actively raising capital on the Netcapital platform. I've just added a link into the Zoom chat, but you can go directly to netcapital.com/companies/Harmonee. That's HARMONEE, or go to netcapital.com and search Harmonee. A few quick housekeeping items. Please do use the Q&A feature built into Zoom. I know there's also a chat feature, but Q&A makes it so much easier for me to track the questions as they come in. And we do want to keep this as interactive as possible. So please do ask your questions and please do use Q&A. I'll try to keep track of chat as well, but again, it's a lot easier to lose questions in there. So please do engage with the Q&A feature. So with all that being said, please join me in welcoming Harmonee to the stage. Come on in, Anthony. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what you are building?
Thanks, Eric. Also joined by my co-founder, Jordan Maness. But Harmonee is really trying to build a frictionless life insurance product. Right now, life insurance is something that people really want, and it's just hard to get. Either the process is very cumbersome and convoluted, having to go get physicals, blood draws. It takes 6 weeks to get done, or there's just a lack of information and transparency. And so what Harmonee is looking to build is a product that can be trusted and an instant product where, just like you do with car insurance, you can apply today and get an approval today.
I love that. And thank you. Yeah, thanks for also joining Jordan Maness, coming in, co-founder of Harmonee. So can you tell us a little bit about your backgrounds? Maybe Anthony, if you want to start us off, and Jordan, you can come in, and then any other members of the team that you'd like to describe.
Yeah, definitely. So just overview for Jordan and I, we're both computer engineers by background. Went to North Carolina A&T, so we're Greensboro, North Carolina natives. So my background has really been in product strategy. I've worked with John Deere. I've worked in small private equity funds, really a lot of healthcare and customer service focus. I've done everything from product management to product strategy to product marketing. Really what drove me to this product that we're working on now is I've spent the last couple of years looking into healthcare technology and understanding more about where healthcare technology is heading. And if we think about insurance, and especially life insurance, it's really a data and mathematics problem with customer service. And so Jordan and I both come from backgrounds in which we feel like we're going to be in a great position to really drive this product home.
That was a perfect intro, Anthony. I don't know if I can add anything else to it, but yeah, as far as my experiences go, I do have a software development background, a little bit of DevOps in there as well. And I do also have some technical support in there. So Anthony and I, again, have known each other, for quite some time. We met in the corporate world and just have kind of been connected ever since. And when he came with the opportunity to work on a product that could improve the lives of those around me, I couldn't say no. And so that's one of the biggest reasons I'm in here today, is just to make sure that we can build a product that can provide an easier route for individuals to obtain an insurance product that could be beneficial for their families, and that could help us to lessen the wealth gap in America.
Wow, I love to hear the purpose behind it. Love to hear that passion as well. I mean, what a time to be thinking about this with the pandemic continuing to rage on. So it's super applicable right now. For those who are unaware, can you tell us how big is this problem? What exactly is the problem that Harmonee is trying to solve?
Yeah. So unfortunately, we're looking at a $11 trillion kind of debt deficit. So basically, what we're seeing is there's an $11 trillion difference between the amount of debt and our ability to cover it for every person in the US. And this is just US based. So that's a huge gap that we're missing. And a lot of our parents and prior generations use life insurance to cover that gap. I mean, you spend your life building generational wealth. It sucks to have to lose that because you don't have a way to pay the mortgage or pay the house off or be able to just cover normal debts going forward. And so, I think most people, whether they have a family or not, thinks about their legacy, thinks about the future, and they want to make sure that what they're building now is protected. So that problem is huge from that perspective. And unfortunately, over the last 10 years, the amount of people who have life insurance policies has dropped by 12%. So currently 46% of Americans don't have life insurance and 70% of Americans are underinsured. And so many times, we're getting our life insurance through our job, probably $50,000 to $100,000 is what most people are getting. That's usually not enough. If you think about if you're the breadwinner of the family or if you have a house or a mortgage to pay off, $50,000 just doesn't last long going forward. And so what we want to do is close that gap, as Jordan pointed out, because this is not only a wealth building tool, but unfortunately COVID has brought to the forefront, people having to scramble in the worst times that they could have in their lives. I mean, we shouldn't be worrying about money if someone passes. We should be worrying about the memories and how we take care of our families and not worrying about how do we pay for funeral service or pay the debts off that unfortunately have piled up.
Yeah, no, that's very, very important. And then so can you share with me some details about the Harmonee solution? How is it improving on the current life insurance marketplace?
Yeah, so I'll let Jordan get in some of the technology in a second, but one of the big things that if anyone has gone through the process, it takes you 4 to 6 weeks to just get life insurance on average. And a lot of that is due to a lot of scheduling or waiting, whether you're waiting to speak to a doctor about a new physical, you're waiting to speak to an agent, the process just takes a while. And technology hasn't caught up until this point to be able to provide a faster solution. So what Harmonee is looking to do is one, provide an instant approval process. So we're looking to cut that down to a couple of minutes. So 20 minutes max, you can go in, apply for life insurance and get approved. We also want to remove the friction of how and where you buy life insurance. So we're trying to figure out how to embed life insurance into our normal buying processes. So, when we're thinking about a mortgage, we should be thinking about how do we protect that house that we're putting a mortgage on. When we're thinking about just different aspects in life, we're building a technology that can be embedded in all these places and can give you the option. And then the second part we're looking at is providing group life insurance through employers. And so, especially in the SMB, small and medium-sized business market, providing a more seamless process there as well.
And just
yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I
sorry,
was going to add,
I was going to welcome you and Jordan to tell us about the technological piece. Yeah, come on in. Sorry.
Gotcha. Thanks. Yeah, one of the interesting things about society now is everything's gone digital. So whereas it was, file cabinets and records stored on paper, physically in a location, in terms of health records, it's not like that anymore. A lot of us probably have portals, patient portals, where we can look at our lab results from a recent physical, or we can look at pertinent data that speaks to our current health and that speaks to kind of the trajectory of our health over time. All that stuff is digitized. So Harmonee is looking to take advantage of some of these data sources in order to speed up the underwriting process and automate the decision-making process. Anthony also mentioned making the product integratable. So if a company wants to add life insurance to their portfolio, or if they want to add the option to buy life insurance, they can do that because Harmonee will have an exposed API where their developers can generate quotes, they can create policies, etc. through Harmonee. And then also, I think a big thing is tapping into some of the wearable data sources that are out there. If we can develop a way, and I think we can, to tap into how many steps you take a day, to tap into even your BMI, there's smart scales out there. If we could tap into that information and utilize it within Harmonee to make adjustments to your premiums on the fly, we believe that's a fair exchange. And we also believe it's a better experience for our consumers.
So I love that concept. I'm a big quantified self person. I am one of those people with the smart scales and the wearables. So really excited to hear that option. And I have heard about people making adjustments to their lives in anticipation of increasing or changing their life insurance policy, trying to make sure that they're more active, eating better. In effect, making sure it's wild because it's the life insurance premium that's guiding it, but the premiums are based off of likelihood of mortality, right? And so you're just extending your life because you're incentivized to do so. And I think that's a really interesting part of life insurance. Yeah, Anthony, you came off mute.
I was just gonna say it's a win-win. I mean, at the end of the day, if we can get you a lower premium and you're gonna live longer, I mean, that lowers our risk profile, but it also makes your family happier. So we see that as a great way to provide a consumer experience, as Jordan pointed out, that everyone wants.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. That's great. So can we dig a little deeper into this? On the offering page, it says 1 hour approval process by tapping into some of these proprietary data sources to underwrite the applicant. Can we dig a little bit deeper without giving away too much of the secret sauce?
Yeah, so I'll give kind of the high level, but basically, as Jordan pointed out, there's all this new rich data that's out there, and there, as I've found in my last career looking in the healthcare technology, it's moving more and more into consumer hands, and there's more and more opportunities for consumers to make the decision. It used to be that if you needed your health records, you may have to go all the way back to the hospital that you were born in, or you would have to go to a doctor and get those health records sent over from doctor to doctor, hospital to hospital. But now, with the digitization of electronic health records, you may see it as EHRs. Customers have the ability to tap that data and have that and share that. And so, by being able to tap into data like these sources, and tap into data, unfortunately, we are putting ourselves in more and more data sources as things go on. But we want to make sure that the consumer has the ability to share as they see fit. And by using that data, we can speed up this underwriting process. And one of the questions we always get is, well, if that's the case, why don't some of these larger carriers go ahead and kind of speed up this process? It's kind of the whole big ship kind of trying to change trajectory. They have a book of risk that they have for years and years, and they can't just on the fly change the process. We do see in the future, every company is probably going to be doing instant underwriting. Where we see our differentiator is that we're driving a value product. It's not just about being able to approve you quickly, but it's about creating a flexible plan that changes with your life. You do a 20-year term insurance, which, just to give a little context, term and whole life are usually what we think about in life insurance, with term being exactly what it sounds like. You have a term amount of time that you have life insurance, 10, 20, 30 years, and whole life is what they call permanent. But term life insurance, in 20 years, your life changes. You pay your house off, your kids go to college, they graduate, and you may need to flex up and down in that policy. And we want to make it very easy for you to do that and use these sources to be able to get better premiums. It's about creating a flexible product that attaches to people's lives and allows them to change on the fly.
That starts to get to one of the questions that just came in from the audience here that I want to address before we circle back to business model and market size. So how is Harmonee different from existing life insurance platforms like Policy Genius and Progressive?
Yeah, so I would bucket them as kind of, there's the legacy guys. So you have New York Life and some of the others of that nature. Those guys are, they've been around for a long time. They have a lot of people on their books from a risk perspective. We will be looking to partner actually with these companies to build our product out. So we're not necessarily going around the whole process, but we're using those companies to develop faster and better technologies. And so the difference is that they just can't move as quickly and move as readily as we are, because they don't have the risk. They have the risk profile of older clients and the clients that they need to move forward with. And then you have these other buckets. So you have some other companies that's doing instant underwriting, and then you have Policy Genius. And those two, one's an aggregator, which Policy Genius is. And basically what that does is you go in, you apply, or you put in some information, and they return you premiums or policies from different companies. So basically they can give you something from 4 or 5 different companies. Another company that does instant underwriting themselves, they may work only with one type of policy, and that's their policy in-house. And that's more of where we're at. So our differentiator is that by having our own product in-house, we're able to have better controls. We're able to implement these things like the flexible premiums, using the IoT devices, being able to make those changes compared to an aggregator like Policy Genius that has to go out and just basically, they find the best fit, but they can't really fit to their customer base because they don't have control over the product. Where our biggest differentiator across everyone is that we're looking to embed our life insurance product in all digital solutions. We are looking to be basically what you see when you see a lines when you go get travel insurance, when you book a flight. We want to be that type of embedded into these solutions. And so that's where we see our differentiator compared to the go-to-market strategy from other players.
I will add from a tech perspective, Anthony kind of hit it right on the head there with these larger companies who've been around for a while. The speed at which they can make changes to their logic, their underwriting logic, that could take weeks, it could take months. But with some of the technologies that will be available in Harmonee, we'll be able to make changes to rating decisions, and we'll be able to update rating logic in a quicker fashion and have that logic deployed and live within the Harmonee environment within a matter of minutes.
Awesome. So it really sounds like one of the big differentiators is that speedboat versus oil tanker analogy, where it's just so difficult to retrofit and move an existing large, kind of institution, whereas being a little bit more nimble and flexible and smaller does provide some competitive advantages. Awesome, great question. Please continue to engage with the Q&A. That's exactly what we're here for. Continuing along, so can you tell us how does Harmonee make money? What's the revenue model look like?
Yeah, so as we talked about, the way that we're gonna come to market is that we're gonna partner with an insurance carrier. So basically, you can think of whatever large insurance carrier you want to think of, and we'll develop our own product. And what we'll do is we'll say, Mr. Insurance Carrier, we have this product in hand. Would you allow us to write this on what they call your paper, where the insurance company carries all the ongoing risk. They say, okay, the rules that you have in place, we'll allow those, and you can underwrite under these rules. And so they carry all the risk. They carry the risk of payouts if a claim comes in, and Harmonee sells the product, and we make a commission based off of that. And so that commission could be anywhere between 60 to 100% of the premiums in year one, and 5% going forward over the life of the policy. So from a life insurance kind of sales perspective, commissions are a big way. There's also some opportunities to embed our product in non-life products. So if you think about the Roots of the world, or the new InsurTech platforms that are non-life but want to integrate life insurance products there, we can serve as a lead generation tool as well. And leads right now, you can see anywhere between $10 to $50 per lead there. Of course, opted in by the customer, but we do have those opportunities. But the bulk of where we see our revenue coming from is from commissions and profit sharing with our insurance partner.
Got it. Awesome. Somebody asked, I love this concept. How can I invest? I'm going to go ahead and send them directly to the offering page for all of those. I guess this is the perfect time to just reiterate here. You can go directly to netcapital.com and search Harmonee. That's HARMONEE. Or you can go directly to the link that I added into chat for the person who just asked the question. I'm adding that link there. And again, you can go directly to netcapital.com/companies/Harmonee. EE at the end there, and that is where you can invest. So awesome. Looks like some definitely getting some people excited about the investment opportunity here.
Love it.
Yeah, love to see it. Continuing along with our regularly scheduled program here, how big is the market for this? I know people, if you talk about New York Life and some of the legacy players, that's real money. What does the life insurance marketplace look like?
It's huge. So the life insurance, if you look at it from just a large perspective in the US, it's a $700 billion industry. And that's just the US with what we call a CAGR, which is the compounded annual growth of 10%. So we're looking at a $1 trillion industry in the next 5 years. Of that, I mean, that includes term life, whole life, annuities. And annuities is the biggest chunk of this, which is an opportunity down the line for us to move into. But if we look at purely at our segment of term life, it's about $150 billion currently now as the market size.
For those who are unfamiliar, and for me, because I hardly remember this part of tax, can you remind the folks what an annuity is?
So annuities, yeah. So basically, annuities is, and I'm not going to say I'm versed there as well, but it's basically a way for you to set up ongoing payments in the future. So think about like you want to put in a certain amount of money, and it has a certain interest rate that's applied to it because you want to make $100,000 a year over the last 20 years of potentially what you imagine to be your life. So maybe you want to start pulling that money out at age 60, and you want to have that money coming for the next 20 years going forward. And so basically you can pay a lump sum or you can pay in, but it creates a pool of money that allows you to draw from going forward.
Right, and I think I remember there's some like deferred tax implications or something like that. Go ahead and do some Googling. But yeah, there's those structures. I did not realize that's the biggest chunk of the market. I mean, I see the ads all the time on whenever you're watching the news, they're trying to sell me an annuity, but I didn't really appreciate it was that big. It makes sense now.
It's interesting because it falls under life products. So the license that Jordan and I have to sell life products is the same license that allows us to sell some annuities. Of course, there's a few some annuities and some life products, you have to have certain SEC clearances and you have to pass the series test. But in general, that could be an area that we move into in the future as we grow Harmonee.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Cool. Continuing along here. So I know you've had some successes in already that you've racked up to date. Can we dig into some of those, and we'll talk about what do we think we see coming in the future. But yeah, we're going to start off with some of the successes to date.
Yeah, so I'll start, and then Jordan can tell you a little bit about what he's been working on with Harmonee as well. But we have recently got our clickable demo completed. So basically, it's just a UI UX layout of what this could look like, and we're gathering feedback now. And anyone can go see it at harmoneelife.com. And we're getting as much info from the customer. So we're building a customer-centric process or product. And so we have about 1,000 customers who have taken a look at this and provided feedback. And we're starting to grow our product list. Our product wait list as we speak. So we're hoping by the next couple of weeks, we have a couple hundred people on our product wait list, and we're ready to move forward. The other thing that Jordan can talk about that he's worked on over the last month is we've started to do some core test builds on our policy management system. And Jordan, you want to talk a little bit there?
Yeah, sure. So we've been working on actually building a small prototype web application that is, taking advantage of some of the automated underwriting engines. So we've been evaluating the connection between our system and the underwriting engines, and we've been able to successfully carry out a few test cases that are really pertinent to the functioning of Harmonee. So we're really excited about that. Obviously before this, we did a lot of research and we came across a lot of different technologies. And so we're really at the point now where we can narrow things down, and we can look forward to building the actual prototype here soon.
Go ahead, Anthony.
I was gonna say, and what both of these things mean is that once we go into our next set of milestones of actually building a product out, we're going to be a lot quicker and a lot faster to get to market because we've had this test build. We have the configuration file. already created. And once we have that product and an insurance partner in place, we're going to be able to move really quickly.
Thank you. Sorry, it took some time to get off mute there. I went ahead and added the link to harmonelife.com in the chat there for those who want to follow up with that, where you can engage with the clickable demo. But that is harmoneelife.com. But you can click the link that I added into chat there. And a couple other things we just glossed over. I know you guys were accepted and completed Founders Gym, which is a fantastic accelerator. And you did YC Startup School. That's Y Combinator for those who are unfamiliar, arguably the preeminent accelerator nationwide. You know, relationships with over 3 major universities and corporate clients. I'm not gonna rattle off the list, but for those of you who don't know, these humble gentlemen haven't told you all of the successes to date. You should definitely go directly to their offering page and read more about those. But I do want to dig into one of them because I think this is really important to your future success, and that is you guys successfully obtained insurance licenses in the state of Texas to be able to sell within 25 other states through reciprocity. Can you talk about how important that is in the long-term growth of Harmonee?
Yeah, so what that means is that, you know, once we see our go-to-market strategy is releasing first in Texas, starting to get kind of that product market fit and understanding what customers want. And then by way of reciprocity, we can just pay a fee, register with the states, and we can go into 25 states immediately and start selling our product. We've looked into the other 24 states, and there's some that have some more nuanced kind of regulatory things, like Florida and New York are a little bit difficult. But most other states, we just need to take maybe a class or two and we can start selling in those states. So to your point, what that means is that once we are ready to start to grow and expand, we shouldn't have many roadblocks from a regulatory standpoint, which is a lot of what holds up, especially in the insurance industry, to go forward and start to sell nationwide.
Yeah, thanks for expanding on that. And it kind of ties into the follow-up part of my first question: progress is so far, and then, you know, the next major milestones that you see on the horizon that you're excited about. Can you share with the audience about some of those?
Yeah, we're loving getting the feedback right now and like digging. We're very product customer centric people, so we're loving to get this feedback and getting people in there. So anyone and everyone, please, even if you don't invest, please just share that out and get that feedback, because we want to build a product that people want. And so right now, what we're trying to do is get that information back, and our next step is to then go raise a larger fund to build a product out. And so our next major milestone is to actually build the product and then release in Texas. So our hope is that we can spend the beginning of next year building and be ready to release next summer and be in the market.
Awesome. Love that. Let's turn focus to the alternatives in the space. So the competitive landscape. I know we talked about a couple of players in the space, but it didn't sound like either of them are really fitting in with this kind of immediate approval slash kind of, you know, really kind of the heart of what you're building out here. Are there companies that are really spot on with this? What does the landscape look like?
There are a few. There's a couple of companies. I think we've counted maybe 3 or 4 that are doing instant underwriting currently. And so you'll see them here and there. They're working with a couple of large carriers. From that perspective, that's pretty much the competition that's there that we see from an instant underwriting platform. But from the way we're looking to embed our product, we haven't seen anyone do this, at least in our research at this point. So what we feel like is our bread and butter and what's going to make us unique is that experience and getting it in front of people. That's the biggest hurdle in life insurance, really, is putting something that is easily understandable in front of people at the right time. I mean, it doesn't, for a lot of people, you know, we're younger, and that's kind of the issue with life insurance, is that when you're young, you don't think about the future in that way. But that's the best time to buy life insurance, because it's going to be the cheapest time in your life to buy life insurance. And so we're looking at how do we embed in ways to get you into a product, whether that's working with group life insurance or working with other things that we're looking at from an embedding standpoint, that then you can expand as your life expands. We talked about that flexible product. And so it's about getting people in early and then having them grow within our product and providing a value that they see fits for them.
Yeah, that's a really good point, and I think that goes back to the relationships you built with the major universities. I know it felt like right around my senior year in college, I had 4 or 5 buddies telling me about their insurance products. Right, I think we all might have.
Yeah.
And of course, and it made a ton of sense, like you said. I wanted to get in while I was young and healthy, and so it sounds like that's part of the growth strategy is working with university systems.
Yeah, I guess we could go ahead and talk a little bit about it. I mean, one thing we've talked about, is how, we never want to think about the worst case scenario that life insurance has to offer, right? But it happens, and COVID unfortunately has shown that this happens to a lot of people, no matter your age. Um, but just thinking about if your parents co-sign for your student loans, they're on the hook for your student loans. If something was to happen to you, God forbid, they have to pay that still because they co-signed your loans. Why don't we have a life product that serves that need? That a $50,000 life product that allows your parents to put you on as a beneficiary that then transfers to you going forward once you move into a job, and then you can expand the life insurance as you see fit. So these are the types of things we're thinking about how do we get into markets and into spaces. It's not just about getting the product there, because we truly believe life insurance is a cornerstone in financial fitness within your life. And so how do we get that into places in the right way, and that you can continue to grow and have this product going forward?
It's a really good point, and I think it's probably healthy to have a little bit of degree of like recognizing mortality at that age. I think that could go a little bit of a long way, just knowing, because you're right. You don't want to think about it, and it's not a huge likelihood, but those worst case scenarios you talk about can be catastrophic for families, and that's what you really want to avoid.
Right.
Okay, no, that's great. I appreciate that feedback there. Last couple of pieces here before we wrap up, and please do continue to share your questions in Q&A. We do want to keep this as interactive as possible. I've added the link to where you can learn more from the offering page on netcapital.com. I'll go ahead and repost that here, if I can see how to copy paste well. There we go. I'll go ahead and add that link one more time there, netcapital.com/company/Harmonee, where you can learn more. And if you deem that you can invest. The last couple of pieces here. I know you're early stage, so intellectual property protection might not be top of mind, but do you see an IP strategy down the line that can, do you have anything that's really defensible now, or do you see an IP strategy down the line to protect some of your intellectual property?
So, Jordan, I can get to some more of the tech side of it, but for us, just getting a product in the market and having that partner in place is going to create a moat automatically. Just because that process is just so rigorous to get an insurance carrier to back you, to get into the regulatory space. That alone creates the moat, at least an initial moat. And then from there, by having a proprietary product, we can create algorithms that look at risk in ways that no one can actually replicate. I mean, they can look at our product and see kind of the pricing and things like that, but they can't take our algorithms that we build in-house. And so that's one of the things that we can create that's defensible, that doesn't necessarily have to be patented. It's just the secret sauce that we create. And then once brand recognition is going to be so huge. It's about life insurance among many other products. It's about trust more than anything else. If you're going to buy life insurance, because this isn't something you're going to buy today and then buy a different one tomorrow. You're looking at 10, 20, 30 years. And so you got to trust us. And so building that brand recognition, being a trustworthy company, is going to create that other moat that we feel like is going to be irreplaceable. But Jordan, you can talk a little bit about the technology that can put us in a place there.
To be honest, I don't know if there's anything else I can add. I think you stated it perfectly. It's the secret sauce, and that's going to be, obviously we're not printing that on walls anywhere for people to take, so it's not like we have to really take any measure there. But yeah, I think the machine learning aspect, which we probably really haven't alluded to as much here on this call, is something that could potentially, again, we probably don't have to go, take any measures IP wise, but it is something that's pretty unique about us. And the technology already exists. People are already tapping into it. It's just more so us applying it specifically to building a better experience for life insurance.
Yeah, trade secret for the algorithm and machine learning processes, and then just out competing and defining that brand. I really think it's a cool name, cool design. It feels like something that you can get behind, and you're right, it has to be all about trust in this space. So
and there's so much white space right now that we think that, you know, by getting to the market quickly, we can start to capture market and get that trust going.
Awesome. This might be our last question because it does wrap up the webinar quite nicely, and that is, what do you see as potential exits for investors? Specifically, the question is, how will your company work within an investment strategy in the future, i.e., what is the plan for IPO, et cetera?
Yeah, so, you know, one thing I learned in Founders Gym is like, have the end in mind when you start your company. And so Jordan and I, you know, we know that we potentially may not be the ones who are running this 20 years from now. We would love to still be involved, but you know, things change. But we are looking at the exit strategy either being an acquisition by a large player, or it could be an IPO, and we're open to both. What we want to make sure, though, from an investment strategy going forward, is we want to align ourselves with investors who believe in our mission. We want to align ourselves with investors. You know, we want to grow fast, but not at the cost of the product and at the cost of great customer service, or at the cost of the company being able to grow. So we want to be very particular about who we take capital from going forward, and making sure that we're making the right decisions, both for our investors now and our investors going forward. And just making sure that, you know, who we let into the house within Harmonee believes that we're going to be able to build this thing out and be able to IPO at the end of it.
Fantastic. Well, let's go ahead and bring it home with closing remarks then. You know, why is now the perfect time for the participants on the line, as well as anybody else who sees this video, to join the Harmonee team by going to netcapital.com and clicking that invest button? Why is now the perfect time?
So two big things. Technology has never been at a place that it's at today to be able to create a what we think of as a beautiful customer experience, where you can just easily share your data and trust that it's not being shared around. So technology has now met the need. You know, oftentimes we see great ideas that just are too early because the technology hasn't caught up, but we feel like we're at that great intersection point. And just also coming out of COVID, and well, hopefully coming out of COVID, there's a lot of eyes on kind of mortality a little bit more, and people are starting to think more about it. And it's just a better opportunity now than ever before to get in front of people with a product that they actually want and have said that they want it. And we can get something great in front of them, and hopefully people will buy into the concept. So right now, we think this is the time to grow. This is the time to get into the market. So we're trying to get there as fast as we can, but responsibly in that way.
Thanks. I mean, Jordan, hard to follow up. You don't have to add anything. I think you're just nodding along, but I want to give you an opportunity. Anything you'd like to add on to what might be a perfect answer?
No, nothing else to add.
Yeah. No problem. Yeah.
The only thing I add, I mean, we love anyone to come in investment wise, but again, go to harmoneelife.com, leave your feedback, share that around. We really want to get a product, because at the end of the day, our mission is to close this financial gap that's out here. And by building a product that people actually want and need, that's how we're going to be able to do this. And so as we put in all our emails, you know, we love the financial capital, but we also love the human capital. And we love the fact that people can share our ideas around and we're coachable, and we're people who we're students of the insurance game. So we want to learn and connect with as many people as possible. So even if your resources aren't financial, we would love to just tap into your network as well.
That's great. Great piece to end there. So with all that being said, thank you so much for our participants who came in and asked their questions. I want to thank our panelists, Anthony Lewis and Jordan Maness. Very, very nice to have you both on and share the good word about Harmonee. As always, this has been recorded and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. I added a link to that into the chat feature, or you could just search Netcapital YouTube, and you'll be able to find it there. I also added that link to harmoneelife.com again, where you can give feedback on that clickable demo. So please do engage with that and support the founders here and to get the feedback to build the product that people want. And then with all that being said, of course, lastly, Harmonee is actively raising capital on Netcapital. So feel free to head over to netcapital.com, search Harmonee, or click the link that I added in the chat. Can you resend the link to the YouTube channel, please? Absolutely. Looks like there might have been maybe a little something wonky there. Let me try that one more time. YouTube. Looks good. Put that out. Let me click it real quick and make sure. Yep, looks like it's linking well. All right. Hopefully that solved that for you. And so, yeah, that concludes our scheduled programming. Again, thank you so much for all of our participants and our panelists for coming on and sharing about Harmonee.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
All right.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.